oversaw the Air Force's nuclear program at the Pentagon. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
The NASCAR Cup.
After decades of searching the cosmos, today NASA announced that what it was really looking for was right here on planet Earth all along.
For years, we've foolishly chased after comets, moons, and stars. Outer space may be beautiful, but it's not as beautiful as the smile of a child, nor as sublime as a good bottle of wine shared among friends. Our search ends where it began, here on this big blue marble.
Astronomers say that while their telescopes were pointing at Mars, they never even noticed the planet that was right in front of them. NASA now plans to appreciate what they already have. The agency's latest report, entitled Wonder is Everywhere, Finding the Beauty in the Everyday, calls for further study of the little things that truly give life meaning.
Warm rain on a summer day, the smell of pine trees, touching the worn paper of your favorite book, that's what's always made us happy, not some asteroid a million miles away.
This is the Onion News Network.
For the past several years now, area woman Caitlin Mooney has been convinced that each and every one of her friends should be a professional comedian. Our reporters spoke to Caitlin this morning about her, quote, hilarious group of friends.
Karen is so funny. Like, I can't even explain it. She's always just saying whatever on her mind. She has this totally sassy attitude. You just can't help but laugh. My roommate Rashmi, she always has these hilarious stories that, they're just too much. I'm always telling her that she should just go up on stage and talk. Everyone would love it.
Mooney went on to say that her good friend Lauren is so funny she could, quote, definitely be on Saturday Night Live or The Office, a sentiment she echoed about a number of her other acquaintances, including her childhood friend Marcia, her college roommate Angela, her coworker Julie, and even her sister Jennifer.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever is on your mind. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. That's why we call it Free Talk Live. Because you can call in at 855-450-3733 any old time you want, as long as it's between 7 and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 days a week. Not too many shows doing that for you. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
855-450-3733. There's really great news out of the World Health Organization, Peakless.
Well, it's a little bit old. This is from the 22nd of August, but this is from BBC News.
It passed me by.
Yeah. Coronavirus pandemic could be over within 2 years, World Health Organization head says.
I didn't think it was going to end at all, so that's pretty great.
Well, given their track record so far, this started as, it's just 2 weeks, guys. It'll just be a quick 2 weeks and it'll all be over. So, now that they're starting to say 2 years, I'm like, is this going to take 200 years?
Right.
And this just goes to prove if the state ever comes up to you and says, I just need to do this thing for 1 minute. No.
Right.
Can't have it.
Nothing.
If I could trust you, I might do it, but I can't.
Right. Like nothing more eternal than a government program. It was 2 weeks to flatten the curve. They flattened the curve, and we're still dealing with it. I got a Men's Health article sitting here right in front of me. We can't beat COVID without a 6-week lockdown. And this is a Harvard professor giving their opinion on what goes on. Oh my God. These people are out of control.
Well, people seem to have completely overlooked the fact that we have germs all the time. We fight off these things constantly. Literally every one of you has already had cancer and beat it.
Well, that's the truth. Everybody who's listening to me, in all likelihood, has had cancer at some point and beaten it. Yeah, they're all cancer survivors.
Yeah,
you just don't know it.
Our bodies are constantly a war zone. That's how it works. Things are constantly invading and trying to make a new home in your body where they're not going to help you, and your body kills them.
Also, kind of interesting that they studied some blood in Great Britain from 2017 and found that it had markers on the T cells that made it that half of the people half of the people's blood had markers on their T cells that made them immune to COVID-19, meaning that they were immune to COVID-19 before COVID-19 existed.
Which is not actually that surprising. I mean, it's kind of strange that they call this the coronavirus, as if it's the one and only coronavirus. We've never really heard that term put into the mainstream before, but it's an entire class. I mean, really what it is a mechanism. Yeah, it's a shape. It's a mechanism that some viruses have where they focus on attaching instead of any other particular part of the viral, not life cycle, but that thing that they could be focusing on. So they focus on lots of attachment sites, and it gives it this corona-looking,
circular, like a bicycle wheel, right?
Exactly, which is a shape that pretty much all of us are aware of. We've all seen the pictures of coronavirus, but they act like this is the one and only coronavirus. When the cold is frequently a coronavirus.
Right. So the cold isn't one thing.
No.
But one of the things that the cold is a coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another coronavirus. And some people appear to be immune to it. And the survival rate is well over 99%. And, if you were given, if the doctor said you have a disease and the survival rate is over 99%, you probably wouldn't change your life at all.
It's true. Well, and a lot of this appears to be very similar to mumps, which most people have, at least as far as the coronavirus part of it. The attachment site, how easily is this spread, appears to be very similar to mumps, which a lot of people already have an immunity to.
And a lot of people have been given the MMR vaccine, means that they, as I understand, there is a relationship between having the MMR vaccine and being immune to this.
And that's one of the potential reasons for why kids seem to be completely immune to this stuff, when usually they're one of the hardest hit by any major pandemic.
Because they've more recently had the MMR vaccine, whereas adults, especially ones over the age of 70, which are, the biggest ones hit at this point, they're either haven't had it ever, or if they have had the vaccine, they had it some time ago.
And I'm not sure that's why this is happening, but I haven't heard anyone say any other reason why kids are immune to this thing. Like, I haven't heard any theories.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
You'd think that'd be important information. Maybe we'd talk about it at some point.
Indeed.
Going on here, so the subtitle here is: the head of the World Health Organization says he hopes the coronavirus pandemic will be over in under 2 years. Speaking in Geneva, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, I probably butchered that one, said the Spanish flu of 1918 had taken 2 years to overcome. So, very scientific. But he added that the current advances in technology could enable the world to halt the virus, quote, in a shorter time, unquote. Quote, of course, with more connectiveness, the virus has a better chance of spreading, unquote, he said.
Well, I mean, what have we done against the cold? As I understand it, we're continuing to get that. The flu goes around every year. It morphs, but what's to say that COVID-19, I mean, I hear it's morphing too.
Well, I mean, microorganisms do that because they have a much shorter lifespan than we do. I mean, we do it too. We just do it imperceptibly because anything within your own lifespan, your evolution is imperceptible.
Right.
Yeah, we recreate our pattern at a much slower rate. That's part of why we will test certain things on mice, because they have a much faster reproduction rate.
Yep.
So you can see what will happen over time. And yeah, mutations, they happen. That's life. Even pseudo-life, since this is a virus rather than proper life.
It's interesting to talk about viruses and the lifespan, right?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a false mimic of actual life, but it is very similar. Because part of what makes cells work is that they send out RNA messages.
Right.
So it's like a cheaper, quicker version of DNA that they'll just send out to be like, hey, you guy, make this protein.
Right.
And that's basically what viruses are, only a big, long stream of that. So you do see a lot of the same processes that apply to actual life apply to this kind of pseudo-life.
Right. I mean, they're not like rocks and dirt, not alive, but they're strangely half live.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that strikes me about this, it's like, this is the kind of speculation that I expect from some dude in the basement.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know.
Spanish flu is 2 years, so this be.
Spanish flu? That took 2 years. This might take 2 years. But then again, we've got these medical advances. But then again, our connectiveness might spread it more. It's like this is the kind of rank speculation I expect from completely uninformed people. And
like us.
Yeah, well, I mean,
indeed.
Here's the thing. When I
though.
start talking about things, as far as I know, it doesn't change what policies are going to go on in different governments throughout the world.
You don't know what agents are listening to you, Lee.
Well, listening and obeying are two very different things. But I mean, there's plenty of people.
They want to take credit for it, so they're just going to take your name off and take it to their boss.
There's that. But hey, I mean, what this guy says is going to scare a lot of people. And it's going to say, okay, well, we better be ready to lock down for another 2 years then. And there's going to be especially a bunch of politicians that are excellent. You mean I can maintain this absolute control over the population for years to come?
So, I mean, clearly some politicians are relishing the whole thing that's going on with COVID, or at the very least, they certainly don't mind using the power that's involved. Others appear not to be quite as interested in it. I mean, you can see one state or territory or whatever right next to another one where, in one case, you know, everybody's wearing masks, and then the next one, nope, nobody's doing really much of anything.
Yeah, I'm always shocked to see someone at that level of government that isn't addicted to power, because, like, why would you work this hard to get that much power? Almost everyone else who's at that level is.
How does it benefit them? How does it benefit the people in power to force people to wear masks and that sort of thing? The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live. I'd love to have an answer to this, because I don't know.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Despite years of warnings about cryptocurrency, criminals prefer US dollars for money laundering, study shows. Jim Rogers predicts end of US dollar dominance. Macro strategist Raul Paul says Bitcoin beats gold in every way. New crypto, sushi, plummets around rumors of exit scam. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to DivvyProject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from DivvyProject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. DivvyProject.org. DIVI Project.org.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Free Talk Live is aired on nearly 200 radio stations throughout the week, and we've been doing this for almost 18 years. You can call in any evening from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern to talk about whatever's on your mind. Sure, you can waste your time on Facebook and reach dozens of surly posters, or you can call in with your issue and reach 3 surly hosts. Oh, and nearly 500,000 weekly listeners. The number is 1-855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom.
My name is Angel Rach. I'm a mother of 2 teenage children, and I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for the right to use the medicine that saved my life. I've been permanently disabled for 10 years, with an inoperable brain tumor, wasting syndrome, and several other serious conditions. For 4 years, I was in a wheelchair, in so much pain I couldn't even hug my kids. The hardest part was looking in their eyes and seeing how much they were suffering because of my medical condition. The medicine that gave me my life back and gave my kids their mom back was cannabis, also known as medical marijuana. With medical marijuana, I can walk, maintain my weight, and I can be a mom. Without it, My doctors believe that I would die. To learn more about medical marijuana, contact Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or on the web at mpp.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in freedom. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. I'm going to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is your place to go for all news relevant to cryptocurrency. You've probably been hearing more and more about Bitcoin because it seems like, well, it's that time that cryptocurrency's on the run again. Maybe. I don't know for sure. But that's what it seems like to me. Just my little view of things.
You mean you're not Satoshi?
I am not. I am not Satoshi. We are. Yes, I am Satoshi. I am Satoshi Nakamoto.
I'm Spartacus.
Yes. But if you think that crypto's on a run again, if you don't think crypto's on a run again, I'd recommend you go to Bitcoin.com and check out news.bitcoin.com because maybe you'll change your mind. If, in fact, you do think it's on a run and you don't know that much about it, maybe you should just go to Bitcoin.com and check the Getting Started section where you can watch about 10 minutes worth of videos and know a heck of a lot more than you currently know. Either way, it'll be edifying and probably better than the thing you're going to do in the next 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes to go check this stuff out sometime today. It's Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com. Your source for all things crypto. Let's go to Robert calling in from South Carolina. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. Robert. I think we're having an issue at the studio. My guess, Robert. There you go.
Anyhow, you asked about which party would benefit from people wearing masks. And I believe that the Democrats feel that they would benefit because they even refer to it as Trump's virus. So that every time somebody sees a mask, they think, oh, yeah, Trump, he's the one who did this to us. Something like that, I think, is what the reason why they did that. And you also asked with regard to different virusy, why it is maybe that some people don't catch the virus or virusy as much as others do. Well, I remember that people who have a dog or a cat or a pet a lot of times are more resilient to diseases and also other kinds of things like they're kind of resistant to other things that cats and dogs might give them. For example, like people get sometimes a problem with nuts or something like that, or those kinds of things. They call that a what? They call that a
allergy,
immunity.
Allergy, exactly. And if you have dogs or cats around a lot, then you don't get those things. But on the other hand, you could also have experiences with people. In other words, if you have friends around, or some people belong to certain groups whereby they might have more sexual interaction with other people. Maybe they might get more exposure to virusy that way as well, and therefore maybe they would be more resistant as the years go by because of the fact that they've already had exposure to a lot of these different things. So I just wanted to bring up those were the 2 points I wanted to bring up.
What I remember saying that I was curious about is why the very young seem to be completely immune to this, when most flus and colds and all that sort of thing will mostly attack the very young and the very old. And this one is definitely attacking the very old, like just about everything else, but for some reason seems to be completely sparing the young.
Well, young people, their body organs develop at different rates at different stages of their lives. For example, there's a time when your skull develops very quickly at the very early stage. Then your brain, by the way, too. In certain parts of your brain, they build up, and other parts kind of wane, based upon what your body thinks it's going to be needing over the years. And somehow the body knows that. And I think it has to do, the disease is the same kind of a thing. And I think that the body figures, okay, good, I need this, I need that, I don't need this, I don't need that, so we'll let this wane and we'll let this grow, something like that.
Well, it's definitely occurring. What's confounding to me about this is that most of the time, children who, their bodies are developing very rapidly, but they haven't developed that many immunities themselves. They're kind of going off of the immunities that they received from their mother primarily. And usually these sorts of things hit them pretty hard, and a lot of very young children die every year during cold season and during flu season.
Well, the young children are very adaptable to different situations, even psychologically. They can do things that children just a few years older than they do cannot. They can learn languages, for example, very well at a very early age, but they also forget them rather quickly. But they learn them completely accent-free, and they learn very quickly. But when they get to a certain age, like if a child comes to America after about 9 years old, you also have a very slight accent. And by the time he's 14, it's even stronger. And by the time he's 24, forget it. You can tell he comes from a foreign country right away, because you'll never get rid of it if you come at the age of 24. But like I say, if you come earlier, you have no traces of it.
Well, I also
I found that to be largely true. I have found some people that manage to get rid of their accent pretty well, but Yeah,
we're definitely set up for learning languages, and we will adapt to whichever language it is. But I did want to touch on your earlier point about the whole who benefits from the masks thing, and it being. I definitely remember that there was a lot of noise made about how Trump had gotten rid of the people who were whose job it was to deal with a potential pandemic. And there was a lot of noise made about being very mad at Trump for doing that before this happened.
Well, it could be that he didn't want to really think about pandemics. He just didn't want to hear about it sometimes. Some people are like that, but on the other hand, Trump is a pretty smart guy. He knows that if something's on the way, he wants to be ready for it, and that's what he did. He was the first guy who closed down those flights to China. He knew he was going to get a lot of flack for that, but he also somehow sensed that this was going to be potentially a big problem, and it would not be a good idea to take the chance. And he guessed very, very right on that one.
Are you going to be voting for Trump this go around, Robert?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I'm kind of surprised with that, with your love of all things German socialism.
Well, that's right. But on the other hand, if we want to go socialist, we need lots of money to pay for that. Germany has a huge income to pay for that socialism. It's a very top-heavy organization. I lived in the city of Dresden, which had 481,000 people when I left. Would you like to guess how many employees, civil service employees, who take an oath of office it had at that particular point in time? 30,000. That means 1 to 15, roughly. One civil service who takes an oath of office, and I don't mean volunteers, subcontractors, contractors, all those other people who also
government bureaucrats. Full on, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
No, I wasn't trying to get you to listen. I was just saying full-on government bureaucrat. You were talking about volunteers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive thing. Germany is like a machine. Only 30% of everything in Germany, only 30% of Germany's income is derived domestically. The other 70% comes from international business. And even then, Germany is a bit strapped. The taxes are high in Germany, but people in Germany don't mind it. Germans are ready, willing, and able to pay for the additional social burden because they love order and they love everything to be perfect.
Well, what about the Scandinavian countries that found out that, you build up your wealth and then you have a massive socialism and then you have basically extinguished all your wealth?
Well, that could happen, but on the other hand, the German solution, and that's my solution as well, I've always thought about that even as a child. If you don't have enough money, figure out a way to make more. I don't cut back. I pay all my bills. I make sure everybody's taken care of. And if I feel I need more money, I just hold myself to the grindstone and make more money. Whether it be with international trade, by selling my translations and my documentation worldwide, whatever I have to do. But my concentration is on the $1,000 bills or the €1,000 bills and make making those bucks and then paying whoever wants to claim part of it. But as long as I have enough left over.
Thank you for the call, Robert. I appreciate it. There you go.
Socialists for Trump.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at MyMagicMud.com. FTL20, MyMagicMud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. As our contract with our satellite provider is coming up for another 3-year renewal, I have to consider calling it quits. It's rare that we get feedback or support from our satellite users. We started a fundraiser a few years ago, and though there are a bunch of great contributors to it, as of this recording, it covers 15% of our monthly satellite costs. Please email lrn@lrn.fm and tell me how you use the satellite feed. Better yet, chip in at fund.lrn.fm. The costs aren't the issue. We can afford them, but why continue something not valued by the market? Want to help? You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. Fund.lrn.fm.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. Call in. The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
And we were talking about, in the first segment, about the World Health Organization saying, maybe we only have 2 more years of this COVID thing. Now, they didn't say exactly what the solutions were to get us to 2 years, but just this wild speculation.
Well, he's very hopeful. It could be less than that.
I'm glad to hear that. I would like it to be less than that, but who knows what these people believe is going to happen at any given time. Want to tell you about ForkFest 2021. You can join liberty-minded voluntarists and libertarians from June the 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Now's the time to start making reservations. It was pretty busy the last time, and I think it's going to be even busier. You can mark your calendars for June the 28th through July 4th. We'll see it. You can go to the website, forkfest.party, to start organizing with people. It's forkfest.party. Let's go to the phones. Paul, calling in from Vermont. Paul, you're on Free Talk Live. Paul in Vermont.
Yes. I'm sorry. I guess I got the wrong line. I got a bathroom problem.
It's okay. Good luck with it. Best I can tell you, but must be calling in for one of the shows on the other network. Let's go to Ben calling in from North Dakota. Ben, you're on Free Talk Live.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
I was just listening about your old remedies for colds and the coronavirus.
Yeah, what are they? You got some?
They obviously the cold medications nowadays, but back in the day they used a thing called bromine quinine.
What is that?
Quinine I've heard about.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, apparently it was one of the things they turned into tonic water so that the British Empire could have an easier time in Africa, as I recall. And I have heard that quinine might be helpful to avoid viruses attaching to your cells. I've heard, I don't know.
Correct. And the old timers used to take it for colds and flus, and they said as soon as they felt it coming on, they'd take it right away. And then they found out bromine was toxic, and people were dying from it. They called it bromine disease. So they took the quinine and made a synthetic drug in the early 60s, and now it's called hydroxychloroquine.
Oh, is that where that comes from?
Interesting.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard different things on this hydroxychloroquine as to whether or not it's successful or not, and I just can't tell you one way or the other.
Well, I can say one thing with some certainty. I've heard a lot of people that do talk about hydroxychloroquine in reference to with zinc.
Yeah.
And I do know that if you have a zinc deficiency, your body is going to have a much harder time fighting off viruses.
I've also heard vitamin D and zinc and these sorts of things are very helpful too in bolstering your immune system against COVID. But hey, look, I'm no doctor.
A lot of that, as I understand it, comes down to, and it's really hard to know this for sure or not, but if you have a deficiency of vitamin C or zinc or something like that, then it does a lot of good for you. If you don't have a deficiency, then it doesn't make a difference. On the bright side, they're water soluble, so your body will just get rid of any extra.
Any thoughts, Ben?
Oh, no, I just throwing it out there. That's what the old timers used to take for their colds and flus. And then on the mask thing, what about not power, but seeing how many people will actually comply?
Now, what was the question on the mask thing? Let's just see how many people will comply.
Yeah, it's not like a power thing, but how many people will do
I
what
see.
you say, babe.
I think that's a large part of it. It could be testing the thermometer. And those are kind of intermingled because somebody might, really enjoy the kind of power where you just, let's see if they'll do this. And that is a form of power. But I think it's large
kind of a
part
useless form.
testing the waters.
Yeah.
It's all useless at the end of the day.
Yeah. But
well, if you have the addiction to power, then it really doesn't matter how you express it as long as you do express it. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're ordering people to do as long as they do it.
It's not wealth. They don't want wealth. They want power. No, you can use power to get wealth, obviously. Have you ever read 1984?
Sure.
The scene when they were torturing him and they're like, what is the purpose of the government or Big Brother or whatever they were calling it? And he's like, to get people to do, I forgot what he said, something. And he's like, no, it's to have power. And it really is. It's kind of like a drug to them. I think that's underplaying it, but they want it for its own sake.
So if you have power, surely you understand that power, power can be spent. It's like it's a currency, right? And you don't want to spend your power on silly things like forcing people to wear masks if, in fact, it's a silly thing.
It's not as silly as that.
That's not true. Well, just like money, I mean, you don't, in a lot of cases, you don't want to spend your money unless it's going to get you more money. You're very happy to spend your money if it's going to get you more money. Now, if you spend your political currency, power, to acquire more political currency. So if you can create an environment where it is this constant re-encouragement of everyone to be more submissive and obedient, then you end up getting more power than you spent because it was a silly thing.
Right now, they have at least half the nation is sick and tired of putting up with all these mask mandates and lockdowns and stuff like that. I mean, Gavin Newsom's finding out in California exactly what exercising power does in this circumstance. I mean, I don't know.
Well, and it's more about if you've overplayed your hand or not, and not, okay, you have 10 units of power and it cost you 2 to do this. It's not as simple as that.
It's not that easy, no. Admittedly.
But then when they figured out that they could get people to wear them and agree with them, now the police that everybody is attacking are doing the simple thing, which is, I don't want to go mess with these rioters because I'm going to get assaulted, I'm going to get attacked, but I can go arrest this person over here not wearing a mask.
Well, I mean, that is a reasonably good assertion as to what's going on. Is that
like most predators, they will pick on the weak.
Indeed. Well, thanks for the call, Ben. Appreciate it. It's frustrating, and I simply don't understand what is going on. To me, if you're going to spend power, and we're talking about it here as a currency, I would be spending power. If I was sitting in that seat, I'd be spending power to A, get more power, B, get more money. And now we can see that as people enter Congress.
Well, you're not an addict, though. I mean, you don't know what it's like to be seeking after that rush that you get when you make people do something absolutely insane. And you're not trying to, chase the dragon with the next big high of flaunting your power.
I mean, it's a speculation on what's going on here is that it's just sort of wild muscle flexing that is going to cost them in the long run. And maybe it will.
Cost them what?
Well,
they're not accountable.
Yeah, they are. At the very little bit in the form of elections.
Well, that's a really strong assumption to assume that elections are 100% real, even if they're not rigged per se.
Well, if this does anything, it's going to drive the nation.
Sununu's getting reelected. He won the primary.
And one thing
Sununu is a Republican, a centrist Republican in a Democrat state.
Well, it's worth keeping in mind, though, that if they get voted out, then they become a lobbyist, which means that they don't necessarily lose power, just have a different kind, and then they'll run next time, and they'll be either a politician or a lobbyist.
Yeah, and the lobbyists certainly get more money. There's no doubt about that part. 855, what are your thoughts? 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
Are you ready for what's next? It's likely coming. More food shortages, power outages, grocery stores closed, social unrest. Ask yourself, do you have enough food and supplies on hand to last at least 30 days? Most Americans do not, but you can. Avoid the panic of the last-minute rush. Order your 4-week supply of emergency food today from mypatriotsupply.com. Starvation or dependency on the government are your only alternatives. Avoid those and the pain of being unprepared. Go to mypatriotsupply.com right now. Build your emergency food supply with meals that last up to 25 years in storage, shipped discreetly to your door. Folks that know what's coming are using today to prepare. There's time for you to do the same. That's mypatriotsupply.com, the original Patriot Preparedness Company. mypatriotsupply.com.
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
The number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Want to tell you about the AMP program. That's at amp.freetalklive.com. You can do as Kylon Eckert has done and support the show. We do things differently than other radio programs in so much as we allow anyone to call in about anything. What other shows let you do that? We're on 7 days a week. What other shows do that? We believe in the ideas of liberty as opposed to, the Republicats or the Democrats. Whatever it is, we're doing it different than the rest of them are. So check us out at amp.freetalklive.com and support what we do. amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Jerome calling in from South Carolina. Jerome, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I have to call you because I'm banned here in Charleston.
What, did you do something bad?
No, I didn't do anything bad. In fact, they lied on me because what happened was I asked the talk show host one time about a comment he made, and ever since then they've been banned. They banned me.
So you held him to account, and they didn't like it. Go ahead. What was the comment?
No, what I asked him, we had a man get shot in the back by a police officer here in Charleston several years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. That was national news.
He said the guy's name was Charlie Jansen. He's the talk show host. He said that if he was on the jury, he would have quit the policeman for doing that. And so I called him up and asked him about that, and he wouldn't answer me. So ever since then, I've been banned. He said I cursed on their show, but that never happened because I'm smart enough not to.
Well, we didn't have anything to do with that. We didn't lie on you.
No, he's not claiming that.
Just someone else on the radio
See,
station that he listens to on. I think
that's the way they try to silence. If you don't drink the Kool-Aid, the Republican Kool-Aid, they don't want to talk to you because they really have no respect for the black callers. And I'm one of them.
Well, we've got lots of black callers that are voting for Trump this go around here on Free Talk Live. I'm surprised at it.
Not me.
Nope.
Not me. Hey, did you hear the story about his tax returns today?
No, I didn't see it. No. What is it?
He paid like $750 between two different years, like 2017 and 2018.
$750,000?
No, dollars.
$750?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't confirm that. That's what the story said.
$1,000.
No, dollars. $750.
He said $750. Are you all right?
Wait, hold. Who paid $750?
Trump, but I didn't dig into it, so I don't know if they meant Trump as a person, all his corporations, everything total. I don't know.
I actually wouldn't be surprised. One of the things about working in real estate is a ludicrous amount of that money is all in loans, and loans are not taxed as income,
correct,
even though you can spend them. So if you're getting a loan to close this housing deal and you spend it on, food and shelter, well, that's just a business expense.
If you take
he bragged about it. He bragged about how he wasn't paying, how he was jobbing the system, and now we know why. After the story came out today, he openly bragged about, oh yeah, and me, and you. Now we know why he keeps with this audit lie, and he doesn't want anyone to see. Well, the truth came out today.
Well, paying less taxes is good business.
Yeah.
I mean,
not in this case.
No, well.
Hey, not only is he a draft dodger, he's a big-time tax cheat.
Well, let me ask you this, Jerome. Do you think that do you think that this will how many people do you think that this will cause to not vote for Trump that we're going to?
I don't know, but I know I'm not voting for him.
Well, you weren't going to vote for him anyway.
I can't speak for other people, but I know I'm not one. I'm not. I didn't vote for him the first time. Why would I vote for him?
But you can speculate on how many people did this really move the needle for them, who are like, I was going to vote for Trump, but he didn't pay enough taxes.
No,
and now he's bragging about not paying enough taxes. Now I won't vote for him.
I don't think he bragged about it.
No?
I don't think so. Not that I know of.
He was. I saw.
Okay. Well, if you saw it, then then it's fine.
Jerome, are you confident that
we'll find in November?
Are you confident that Biden's going to win in November?
No,
okay.
I'm not confident, but I'm gonna take my chances.
Okay. Oh, I'm not. I don't think you should. Whoa. Don't let me sound like I'm telling you to vote for the person who's going to win, because that's a dumb thing to do. You should vote for the person that you think is
a vote, not a guess.
Yeah, right. Vote for the person you think is best. If you think that particular crooked old pervert is the best one, then by God, just go ahead and vote for him. But
hey, look. Don't tell me to vote for one of your cockamamie ideas.
I'm not gonna. Okay? I've already told you enough times.
The LP is running the commie this time, so I don't see a preference between any of them.
I wouldn't even know who to tell you to vote for if you would listen.
You don't like Jo Jorgensen?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
Hey, Jerome, why don't you vote for somebody from the hoodoo?
Do you have write-ins in your state?
Yeah.
I am curious, Jerome. Are you looking forward to the debates at all? Because I hear they finally decided to debate here, I think day after tomorrow. Jerome, are you looking forward to the presidential debates?
Hey, I'm gonna have a notepad, and in 90 minutes. I don't know if it's going to be a 90-minute. Well, they said reporting will be for 90 minutes. I don't know how long the debate will be, but I'll be charting Mr. Trump because I know he's going to lie. Because, like I said, he has no fidelity.
Politicians lying.
They're all going to lie.
Jerome, I look forward to your reporting on the debate coming up. I may watch. I don't know. It just depends.
I hope to. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I'm going to sit down with popcorn and just be entertained.
I don't drink anymore, so I'm not going to watch the presidential debate.
Let's go to Joe calling in from Pennsylvania. Joe, you're on Free Talk Live. Joe, what do you know? It's time to go, Joe.
Hell.
Oh, there we go.
You there?
Here he showed.
Yeah, what would you think of a country that had no unemployment and no homelessness? Everybody had a job. Everybody had a place to stay. There were no food lines. Everybody had food. What would you think if that country was like this?
I'd probably not trust their stats and think they're lying.
Well, that's what Russia had when the communists were in power there.
That's what they said they had.
They had big food lines.
Those are different.
No one starved to death in the USSR. There was no Holodomor.
Pardon me?
There was no such thing as the Holodomor. No one starved to death in the USSR.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what they said, that's for sure.
There was no food. Everybody had a job. Everybody had a place to stay.
Oh, it was a utopia,
we got so many people in this country that are unemployed and food lines.
Oh, yeah, perfect justice in the USSR.
Yeah, that's the ones that it's not their fault. That's caused by the lockdown. So if we just get rid of that, we'll be fine.
So unemployment was really low in the United States prior to the COVID thing. I don't know. If you're using the Soviet Union as an example for something good, I don't know what to do with it.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
But those people were lost when the Communist Party went out of power. They didn't know what to do.
Sure.
Well, that's kind of one of the problems with communism.
The party told them where to work. Who was going to be an athlete, who was going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And they did whatever they were told to do.
Because they had no option to do otherwise in many cases.
Right. And as far right now, what we've got here is just the two parties, and they're all going against each other, and cities are being burned, and it's just everything's running amok.
Agreed. I don't think more government is a solution to it, though.
Indeed.
I think that it's quite
What's
the opposite.
The solution?
Not more government.
I would say more freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the debate. It's going to be like a circus.
That's pretty much my viewpoint.
I don't know.
Do you have a favorite?
Anyway,
do you have a favorite monkey in that circus?
Well, you got two old men going in there. I'm not really happy with either party's choice. We needed somebody to come in like a John Kennedy or a young guy. These guys are old. I'm 80 years old, and I can't see me running the country. I just turned 80 in July.
Yeah, I do kind of see as I'm knocking the door on 50. I kind of feel like my mind doesn't work quite as well as it did when I was 35. And
yeah, exactly right. And it's too bad that somebody didn't come out. They didn't come up with somebody that
maybe a little more
take
impressive.
The country in the right direction.
They weren't trying to.
Yeah, it's this is a feature. Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another. without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
He calls it fake news. I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News. President Trump denies a New York Times report today that he paid no federal income taxes in 10 of the past 15 years. The report says he paid $750 in federal taxes the year he was elected, and the same amount his first year in office.
It's fake news. It's totally fake news. Made up, fake. We went through the same stories. You could have asked me the same questions 4 years ago. I had to litigate this and talk about it. Totally fake news. No, actually, I paid tax.
President Trump also defending his nominee to the Supreme Court, saying opponents are playing the religion card because Amy Coney Barrett is Catholic. Democrats say one of President Trump's main goals in getting Judge Barrett seated to the Supreme Court so quickly is part of his plan to eliminate the Affordable Care Act. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
What I am concerned about is anyone that President Trump would have appointed was there to undo the Affordable Care Act. That is why he was in such a hurry, so he could have someone in place for the oral arguments which begin November 10th. And it doesn't matter what the process is here. What matters is what it means personally to the American people. If you have a pre-existing medical condition, that benefit will be gone.
Pelosi on CNN's State of the Union. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden also making the accusation and urging the Senate to hold off on the confirmation. Biden will debate President Trump on Tuesday. And a momentary victory for Republicans in the battleground state of Wisconsin. A federal appeals court has temporarily halted a 6-day extension for counting absentee ballots in the state. A lower court judge had sided with Democrats and their allies to extend the deadline as a way to help deal with an expected historic high number of absentee ballots. America is listening to Fox News.
For over 20 years, millions of customers have trusted Blinds.com to update their homes. Because Blinds.com makes it easy to get custom blinds that'll give your windows a high-end look without the high-end price. Whether you like to do it yourself, need help with design, or prefer measure and install services, they keep it simple with easy online ordering and free shipping right to your door. New window treatments are a simple way to really benefit the look and feel of your home. And Blinds.com will guide you every step of the way with free online design help. And if you're nervous about trying them, don't be. Blinds.com has over 30,000 5-star customer reviews, and they guarantee the perfect fit for your windows, whether you do it yourself or have them measure and install everything for you. Go to Blinds.com now to take advantage of this week's special savings on interior blinds, shades, shutters, and even outdoor shades. Rules and restrictions may apply.
U.S. gas prices were relatively steady over the past couple of weeks. Industry analyst Trilby Lumberg says the average price per gallon in the country fell a penny to $2.25, and she expects prices to keep coming down.
We still have very abundant gasoline supply. We have demand being hit awfully hard. It's not only a seasonal decline this time of year. We also have a very weak economy with unemployment claims up. We have a great deal of inactivity in the country that is cutting into gasoline demand.
There's now a tattoo parlor on one U.S. Air Force base.
Nellis Air Force Base outside Las Vegas has officially opened its own tattoo shop, saying on social media that it's always leading from the front and finding new ways to improve the quality of life for airmen. Team Nellis is now home to the first tattoo studio on an Air Force or Army installation that is.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
It's the Onion Radio News. An area man doesn't know what to do with all the extra ketchup packets. This is Doyle Redland reporting. After finishing his Big Bacon Classic combo, Erie, Pennsylvania resident and Wendy's patron Don Turnby, 38, expressed uncertainty today regarding what to do with all the extra ketchup packets. Turnby had asked for extra ketchup upon placing his order for a ketchup-necessitating Biggie Fries.
Well, I knew it was too many ketchups because I usually only need 3 or 4 for my Biggie Fries, but I just took them anyway.
At his nearby home, the Turnby pantry is crammed with hundreds of other restaurant condiments, including single-serving packets of Taco Bell mild sauce, Arby's horsey sauce, soy sauce, McDonald's Chicken McNuggets hot mustard sauce, pats of shed spread country crock from Ponderosa Steakhouse, and a selection of Smucker's jellies and jams from several area diners. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about what you want to talk about. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. The number 855-450-3733. That's 855-450 free as in freedom. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
And Peakless, we were talking about this World Health Organization bureaucrat who...
The head of the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
No less than the top man himself.
The chief wahoo.
Aren't we glad that all of our lives are in his hands?
Saying that, we probably got another 2 years on this COVID thing. Maybe less, maybe more. I'm not sure.
Well, 100 years ago, we had a big thing, and it took 2 years. This is a big thing. I mean, it might be shorter because we got technology, and it might be longer because we got technology.
And at least China's paying us.
Hey, what?
The World Health Organization's
yeah.
They get big money. They were way behind on this whole COVID thing.
No.
Yeah. So what else do they got to say on it?
Not a whole lot, honestly. But I thought this was worth noting. Let's see, but at the same time, this is the World Health Organization head speaking. But at the same time, we also have the technology to stop it and the knowledge to stop it. He noted, stressing the importance of, quote, national unity, global solidarity, unquote. And I actually looked up solidarity because I'm like, is that not literally the same thing as unity?
Yeah, that sounds right.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, so he repeated himself. It's been done before.
Well, those are kind of mutually exclusive concept.
So national unity kind of means being, unified with your nation, and then global solidarity means all the nations are unified in one opinion. So I, the head of the World Health Organization, would like to remind you that I am head of the World Health Organization and that you should do as I wish when it comes to health stuff, because we're totally not taking payoffs from China or the United States or anybody else, and therefore we're just out here looking out for your best interests.
And it's somehow feasible to have, if you somehow took a person who could only act benevolently, it's somehow then feasible to act in the best interest of every population simultaneously with the same advice. That's
I don't know how long this will last.
insane.
I don't know what we need to do, but this much I know. We must do exactly the same thing in every circumstance.
Yeah, and not just the lockdown. Any health issue. Like some countries need a lot. They have nutrition problems and they need to eat a lot more calories and they need more food. That's not true of the U.S. So you can't just give blanket advice for an entire planet on any health issue, really.
And it seems like this COVID thing so far has come in a couple of waves at the very least. And you don't know when your country's going to get it, if they're going to get it. There's some countries that have been largely untouched, others that have been hit really hard, harder than the United States. I know the Democrats don't want to hear that. In fact, there are countries that have been hit harder. If you look at
except for New York.
New York State?
New York City.
Yeah. Well,
turns out, like sending COVID patients into the nursing homes?
Bad idea.
Huh. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. But that's Trump's fault for reasons. I don't know.
Well, Cuomo's very proud of himself, so obviously he's doing a good job.
Yeah, he must be doing a great job because he was doing fireside chats and telling everybody it wasn't his fault. That darn Trump and his stuff.
Trump is so powerful. He can just make governors and mayors do things without ordering them to, and in fact by ordering them to do the opposite.
His very existence causes their actions to have different effects than they would have otherwise.
Indeed. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The World Health Organization doesn't carry much weight for me these days, but I
really hope that's a lot of people these days, because I mean, just their predictions and their prescriptions have just been terrible.
And the whole listen to the experts thing. Like, at this point, I don't know who the experts are. I mean, there are plenty of experts out there that are willing to tell you things that are completely the inverse of what other experts are telling you. And I don't know what that means when you say it. And mostly at this point, and I think many, many, many people around the world are just sort of stir crazy from being locked up for months on end. And being like, let's not forget the house arrest of the entire planet without habeas corpus. I mean, this is sort of really important, is you can't lock people up just because you want to. And the idea of quarantining healthy people has never been done before. New idea.
Yeah, it seems to me we actually wrote down a whole bunch of documents and maybe even had a few wars about, like, when you're allowed to just arrest people. And I think we all agreed, A, there should be a reason for it, and B, there's a way you do it.
So, yeah, I mean, so far the Men's Health Organization has got an article here. We can't beat COVID without a 6-week lockdown. Now, I'm not going to go into it, but there are people all across the board saying all kinds of different things regarding this COVID thing. And I think that ultimately it comes down to you and your risk tolerance. If you want to stay at home all the time and then sneak out to the grocery store at 6 a.m. with a mask on, that is your freedom to do so. It is your life. Please do that.
And you would have less crowded places if you would just do that for yourself, because then Walmart would be open 24/7 and you could go at 2 a.m. when nobody's there if you wanted, if you would just leave everybody else alone.
Right. Instead of forcing people to do this thing or that thing. And, now we've got the working, for a while there, you're giving the working population more money to stay home than to go to work. And I get why they chose to do it. But when you start paying people to stay home rather than go to work, then they suddenly, I'm terrified of this corona thing. What?
Right. What determines whether I get paid more and do less?
Yeah.
My fear level? Oh, it's huge.
Yes, it's huge. Yeah.
Right? That's the right answer that gets me paid more and doing less?
And don't forget alcoholism, obesity, drug abuse, suicide. All these things are up right now. That's
Domestic
not exactly
violence.
Yeah, positive. And by the way, trapping people in the house with their domestic abuser, it's a good idea. But apparently, you were talking about arrests there. Apparently, arrests now. There's a way to get out of jail free card.
Oh yeah,
I think this is a fascinating one.
The courtesy card.
Well, I'm sure it's existed for a very long time.
Yeah, this one's from Vice.com. The little cards that tell police, let's forget this ever happened. And I mean, it's just one of those. I know there's corruption, especially in government. I mean, wherever there's power, people are going to abuse it. Power corrupts. That's what happens. But I'm used to people kind of trying to hide that they're doing that. I mean, everyone knows that police are held to a fundamentally different standard of behavior, especially when they're working. And everyone knows that there's a certain amount of leeway that you give them because of the job that they do. And people like you and I are not necessarily for that. And a lot of people are very much for that because of the dangers of their job and so on and so forth. But here you have the courtesy card, which basically is a little card that someone in the law enforcement umbrella will give you. And you can pull that out, and it's got a little, the phone number of the person that gave it to you on the back. And they can call and check it out. And, the police don't have to care about it, but there are a lot of nudge, nudge, wink, winks when it comes to figuring out which laws they're going to carry out, who they're going to run in, which tickets they're really going to prosecute.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting situation, this courtesy card. So first you have to presume that police are giving police a break out there. And I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, that's happening.
Well, I've never seen one pulled over for running a light.
Well, not in a cop car, but there are instances now and then when a police officer will get in trouble for, say, drunk driving, and then the cops won't let him. The cops in a neighboring county or whatever won't let him go, or however that goes. But at the same time, I can tell you, as a fireman, I kind of been treated. You leave that fire helmet in the back of the car, and I just tend to think that things go better. Why exactly do firemen have the union sticker on the back of their car? The pipe fitters union doesn't have a sticker. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Despite years of warnings about cryptocurrency, criminals prefer U.S. dollars for money laundering, study shows. Jim Rogers predicts end of U.S. dollar dominance. Macro strategist Raul Paul says Bitcoin beats gold in every way. New crypto, sushi, plummets around rumors of exit scam. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to divvyproject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from divvyproject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. divvyproject.org. DIVI project.org.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party.
Free Talk Live.
I was watching some videos of you and your crew of cronies on YouTube, and I was shocked at what I saw.
What did you see that was so shocking?
Degenerates that were harassing members of your community. I saw you chasing around some traffic lady, the parking violation.
The parking attendants, yeah. Okay, so you saw some footage from Robin Hood of Keene where...
There's a whole bunch of that footage out there, and I can assure you didn't see me.
That wasn't really a Free Talk Live thing.
Incorrect.
All right, you got me. You got me. Lay it on me, prosecutor. What'd you see?
Incorrect. I would like you to address, are you guys receiving government benefits while you guys are doing this? I think you are.
No.
What would the benefit be?
Incorrect! Incorrect, sir!
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Come on, call in. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
The number 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. Do you have a WordPress website running WooCommerce and want to accept cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin SV? Well, now you can easily enable crypto payments from your customers by adding the AnyPay plugin to your WordPress site. It only takes a moment. Just visit AnyPayInc.com and set up your account by entering your crypto wallet addresses in the admin. Then enable the AnyPay plugin in your WooCommerce, and that's it. And now your website takes cryptocurrency thanks to AnyPayInc.com. And I just used AnyPay today, and I'll tell you what, there's a really great feature. They, at the restaurant that I just went to, all they had to do was type in the total. I had a bowl of pho soup, and it was great. Excellent. They're at Pho Keen Great. And they typed in, I think it was $13.08 with the for the large bowl. And then it pulled up a QR code. On that QR code, I could have used any one of these 4 cryptocurrencies that AnyPay accepts: Bitcoin, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, or Bitcoin SV. Now, I chose to pay with Dash because that was convenient for me, but it didn't matter. It was that one QR code. So they didn't have to ask me what cryptocurrency I was using. It's really cool. AnyPayInc.com. That's AnyPayInc.com. So we were talking about this idea of a courtesy card, and I think this, there's an article on it here, and I have to choose whether or not I believe this or not. This exists, and I tend to believe it, because if you're a police officer, would you like your mom to get a ticket or not get a ticket? And I think the answer is pretty clear. You probably don't want mom getting a ticket.
Assuming you don't have a really unhealthy relationship with her.
Well, then you just don't give her one of the cards.
That's right. So if you would like to pass on the privilege, presuming that there is a privilege, and I tend to think there is, that police officers get a professional courtesy, that that perhaps they don't get tickets quite as often, or whatever the situation may be. And you can pass out this card, and this card has the police officer's number on the back, and essentially the person in the car can, I don't know how this conversation comes up. Hey, you can't give me a ticket. I've got this card.
Oh, I'm sure they don't tell them what they can and cannot do.
Yeah, it's best not to do that.
However, they say they are happy to, just hand it over with your license.
Yep.
Ask for your license, and you just happen to hand this over with it as well.
I don't know how to say this, but I was given this card by my brother, and maybe you want to see it, and they hand it with the license. I don't know what you would do, honestly.
Yeah, they've got a story here that Mike, not his real name, gets pulled over, and I think it really just coalesces into this moment. I just basically happened to have one of their PBA cards on me, he said, referring to the small plastic courtesy cards issued by the Police Benevolent Association, which usually have an officer's name, phone number, and signature on the back. So I'm sure there's a political element to this internally, like whether your department gets along with that department, and if you recognize the name and that sort of thing. I'm sure that there's nothing requiring them to take it easier on you at all.
No.
But you might develop a reputation with your brothers in arms if you start applying the same level of ferocity to their friends and family that get these little get-out-of-jail-free cards, as they're called.
Yeah, so the Police Benevolent Association, in many cases, is an organization to which you can donate. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if these cards go to people who donate sufficiently. And if that's the case, then they have, no value. I don't know. Maybe they work, but...
Well, it has to be given out by someone who will sign it and put their number on it in order to be fully effective. So I'm sure it comes down to specifics. But yeah,
I'm sure not all departments have the same rules. I'm sure not all departments even have this card, but it's a common thing in some form or another in most places, I would imagine.
But I do know most police officers have business cards. They get them, they're printed up. You pay for them as the taxpayer. So they could very well hand out the business card and say, well, I can tell you this. If there's an Officer Edge on the business card and my driver's license says Mark Edge, then it's Officer Bruce Edge, for instance, or something like that, then, maybe the officer is going to be like, oh, this is the brother of or son of or, father of, who knows what the situation is. But, if you're sharing the same last name, then, well, there's some indication.
Yep, and let's see here. It goes on to say, with few exceptions, PBA cards aren't a normal part of life for most people in the U.S. Though they do confer some privilege and exclusivity, the cards aren't exactly a secret. The Police Benevolent Association, New York City's largest police union, issues these courtesy cards, nicknamed get-out-of-jail-free cards, to its members on a yearly basis. Members can pass the cards out to whomever they choose to provide them with a little extra protection. And the PBA is
protection from what?
Well, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there appear to be these well-armed thugs, goons, if you will, running around, stopping people for no particular, reason, and extorting them under the threat of kidnapping to give them money. And not only to give them money, but to give them money in a very, very complicated way.
Right, it is. Sometimes you give them the money and the ticket doesn't go away. Sometimes you attempt to give them the money and the ticket never showed up.
And if you try to give them the money in the wrong way, then you can end up with another ticket.
Right. Hey, how about I get a discount on this ticket by giving you a hundo right now?
Turns out you're not supposed to pay it that way.
It used to be, I am told, that you could pay tickets. If you know this, ladies and gentlemen, if you know this is true, the number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. But I have been told that there was a time in the past in America where you could pay a ticket with the cop right there and just take care of the problem.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever official, and I think that program is still ongoing in some smaller towns in the country.
Okay.
Funny how we can trust people with human lives, but can't trust them to, bring the money back after the extortion.
Well, the old SEAL sayings, trust me with your life, not with your wife. I mean, it's trust is a funny thing.
Does seem to be the case.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would... Certainly, if there are police officers out there that are using their positions to make money, and that can't, just because we believe it happens in Mexico all of the time, doesn't mean that it doesn't happen somewhere in the United States. And I've never experienced anybody trying to shake me down. But then again, I'm a little obtuse to these sorts of things.
To be fair, every time you get a ticket is a kind of shakedown.
I very, very rarely get tickets. I just get pulled over, and then, it stopped. The whole shenanigans stop, and I drive off.
So it's a specific example of that business card with Bobby Bruce Edge, the officer.
I've never had one. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Would love to hear your story about a cop asking you for a payoff. Free Talk Live.
So when we brought him home, we didn't realize that Bear, the rescue dog, was actually sick. He had very flaky skin. He was dropping a lot of fur, and Levette wanted to do steroid injections, special dog food. Nothing seemed to work, so I was at a dead end.
DINOVITE.com.
I've been hearing Dinovite on the radio for years. It never actually crossed my mind to try it until it finally sunk in. Oh, you're talking about hair and skin, and all right. I'll try it. Well, it took probably 6 weeks, but after we started using Dinovite, no more flaky skin, he doesn't scratch and itch, and he started to put weight on.
Dinovite is nutrition.
I wish that we would have started the Dinovite right away. It would have been so much easier.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days.
DINOVITE.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Forget the road.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my
my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in. Talk about whatever's on your mind. We're talking about police courtesy cards. Fascinating topic. I don't think it's ever come up here on Free Talk Live. I've never heard this before. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. These courtesy cards apparently are sort of a business card kind of thing coming from the Police Benevolent Association. And it looks like it's pretty much out of New York City, NYC.
Well, I'm glad you asked that because they go on to say this. Other New York City police unions, like the Detectives Endowment Association and the Sergeants Benevolent Association, do the same with their own courtesy cards. Elsewhere, police unions in Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and Boston have a history of issuing courtesy cards of their own. The Detectives Endowment Association and Sergeants Benevolent Association did not respond to requests for comment.
It's a great idea not to respond to a request on the comment on that story. So it sounds like major city cops, and maybe this is going on in suburbia. I don't know. But it sounds, like, where's the story from, by the way?
Vice.
Okay. So it's from a credible news source.
Wait, Vice is a credible news source?
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're certainly not completely unbiased. By what do you consider a credible news source, I guess?
Cop Block, nothing.
Cop Block doesn't exist.
The Intercept, Gene Grindelwald, what is his name?
Right, it's, whatever his name, Greenwald. I think you have to have a lower standard. So the question is are they lying? And it's a full story of either, just absolute fabrication or speculation as to what these business cards are for, or the idea that a civilian might hand over the Police Benevolent Association, the PBA card of some cop and say, hey, maybe you don't want to give me this ticket. And then maybe they don't. And maybe they do. And who knows? We don't know. There's no way to sort of force any given police officer to choose not to give somebody a ticket.
Well, something tells me that it's going to be a small minority of police that will treat you worse after you do that.
Probably true. Now, we have had Barry Cooper from Never Get Busted come on, and he was a decorated police officer down in Texas. And he said that he would always go after the people that had the sort of cop sticker on the back of their car that they've donated to the police that when they called and on the phone and spam robo called them or whatever. I always wondered whether that was just a tactic of his to get people to not do that anymore, and I don't know the answer. I wouldn't be able to speculate. I rarely get tickets. Mostly if I get pulled over. In some cases, I've had my fireman's helmet in the back of the car. In other cases, I haven't. And I still don't get tickets. And I think it's just sort of because, well, for one, I don't speed generally. If the last time I got pulled over, it was because I went through a light, but it's a stupid light. And I think the police officer just wanted to make sure that we all knew, he and me and everybody knew that light was red. There wasn't any oncoming traffic, so it didn't make any sense to stop. But I didn't even stop. Like, I didn't stop, slow down, anything. I just blew through it as though it was green because I guess that's what I thought I saw. And that just seemed legit enough to him, and off I went. But it happens over and over again. My policy is not to speed because I'm not giving these people any extra money. If I'm going, my commute is about 15 minutes.
Well, and one thing that I have definitely found in all my years of life, the easiest way to have to interact with police is driving. I mean, if you don't drive, you will almost never interact with these people.
That's true. And if you don't speed, you interact with them far less frequently. So, like I said, my commute is about 15 minutes from home to work. And if I speed, it's about 14 and a half minutes. I mean, it just doesn't make a difference.
No, they've done actually a lot of studying on speeding, and the average change is 1 minute.
Yeah, and I'm just that rich that I can give up that minute. Like I'm wealthy in the sense that I can just scribble that minute off. It's not going to change anything. Now, if I'm going from New Hampshire to Florida, and I do twice a year, then I'm much more likely to pick a speed above the speed limit or whatever. I calculate it in my head. I decide what's the right speed and what is it. Anybody who speeds, and just about everybody is always doing these calculations. I do them twice a year. And otherwise, I'm not going to do it. And, this little system of mine has worked out reasonably well. So...
Yeah, last I checked, the average speeding rate is about 7 miles an hour over the posted limit, is just on average what people do.
What I've found is that the speedometers, so you know how they have those little things on the side of the road that are supposed to make you slow down?
Always make a lot of people slow down, I find.
Yes, so they say. So they'll have a speed limit, 30 miles an hour. You're going 55, right? Or whatever it is, whatever it says.
And they'll flash if you're going that fast.
Yeah, it gives you a mean little flash if you're going 31 or higher. And those things, when I've looked at my speedometer, and in both of our cars, it's a digital speedometer. Whatever happened to the dials, I don't know. And I can look at that number, and I look at the number up there, and it's always 2 or 3 miles an hour lower. So 7 miles an hour in this is just me speculating. 7 miles an hour is people going 10 miles an hour with a speedometer that is set 2 or 3 miles an hour lower.
Could well be.
And they just, in many cases, that's the case. Now,
well, and most tickets do have a very low fine for 5 miles or less.
Yep.
And a slightly higher, but still pretty low fine for 11 miles or less. And then they start, hitting you.
Ticking on up. And this is one of the things that I think is really, so if most people are going X speed in a given area, then the speed limit's 10 or 15 miles an hour lower than that, then it's the speed limit that's the problem, not the people. Because they have calculated that this is a safe way to travel on this particular bit of road. And I think that in large part, speed limits are out there for fundraising. If you wanted to if you wanted to stop people from going a certain speed, you'd put one of those speed cams out there and you would stop them. Right? So, on X country road, you set the speed limit at 55, everybody goes 70. You put the cam out there and you hit everybody who's going 58 miles an hour or faster, and then everybody will go under 55 right quick. And whereas if what you want to do is do fundraising, and then what you would do is you'd put a cop out there at the end of the month to pick people off who are going 80, and then give them the big old tickets.
Some kind of trap for speed.
Yes, that's exactly what you do. This system isn't about getting people to go the speed limit. This system is about just
it never
taxation.
was. I mean, these speed limits we mentioned earlier, there is nothing so eternal as a temporary government programming. I mean, these Freudian slip, temporary government program. These were put in place because of the oil shortage of the early 70s.
The 55, yeah.
That's why we had speed limits. You're using up too much gas and you need to slow down.
Well,
but it's
to be
a
clear,
temporary measure.
We had speed limits before Jimmy Carter rolled up. It's just that they were higher. So what Jimmy Carter's administration did was to set a national speed limit at 55 miles an hour. And the intention was to burn less gas. And mind you, the cars at that time, that was a significant amount of fuel. Whereas today, 55 miles an hour wouldn't make that much of a difference between 85 miles an hour because the cars are, they sip gas in comparison to those hogs from 72 or whatever it is.
But it does give you a nice, completely unnecessary source of income any time you feel like it.
Right, and there are a lot of places that haven't gone up, back up in whatever way, and that's ultimately what it is. It's just a fundraising program. If they wanted people to go slower than they do speed cams, because what happened with red light cams would happen with speed cams. With red light cams, well, once people started getting tickets by running through red lights, and they'd slam on their brakes at red lights, and there'd be more accidents. And by the way, deaths also go up at with red light cams. So probably that would happen with speed cams too. I'm not exactly sure how it would work. I haven't seen a study on that. Have you? The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. I think it's time the cops just stop handing out tickets. Free Talk Live.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus doesn't grow on. As a result, it naturally has antifungal, anti-infection, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. A 1-pound package of tea is $34.95 plus shipping. To order, please visit shopsupertea.com. That's shop, S-H-O-P, super, S-U-P-E-R, T-T-E-A.com. So the complete website is shopsupertea.com, or call us at 818-984-6100 Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5 California time. That's shopsupertea.com at 818-984-6100.
There's so much hand sanitizer on the market, but beware, not all hand sanitizers are created equal. That's why you want to use 2020 Safe hand sanitizer. You can trust the hand sanitizer on 2020safe.net to be made with the highest quality ingredients, American made with American ingredients, employing Americans. Log on now to 2020safe.net and order your 1 liter today. Normally $29.99, but reduced to $19.99. So hurry while supplies last and receive a bonus. That's right. You'll receive a 30-count bottle of Immune Booster, a $39.95 value, free by using code GCN at checkout. Right now, click 2020safe.net. That's 2020safe.net to get our 1-liter bottle of high-quality hand sanitizer with your free bonus. A 30-count bottle of Immune Booster valued at $39.95. Remember to enter GCN at checkout, and the bonus is yours free. 2020safe.net.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever is on your mind. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
And you can call in and talk about what you want. We were just talking about Police Benevolent Association cards that allow people to just sort of get out of jail free. Fascinating stuff.
And not just them. The detectives and sergeants unions as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. I'm surprised that they're that blatant about it, but apparently they are.
Well, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with the idea of like business cards with an officer's name was probably how this originally started. Was someone would hand someone a business card with another law enforcement officer, and nudge nudge wink wink kind of thing. And, well, they did it so often, and those business cards, they kind of get torn up over time, so we'll just give them these nice plastic cards. Since this is kind of universal behavior, we'll just go ahead and make it open that our unions do that. It's one of the perks.
Right. We're trying to raise money here for good causes, people.
Exactly.
But I think everyone understands when they come knock on your door asking for money, even if you're just a regular person. And they're like, oh, yeah, we have bumper stickers and those little stickers on your car. You know what that's for.
What is it for?
It's for the cops knowing that you gave them money.
Okay. Yes, I know what the stickers are. I guess what are they doing with the money?
No one knows and no one cares. They just want the get out of jail free sticker to put on the back of their
actually
car.
used to sell these.
Okay.
Technically it's not selling. Oh yeah, no, it kind of drove me nuts. It was okay, I'm never doing a job like this ever again, but this was the last straw. But no, I was sitting in a telemarketing room calling people up on their auto dialer to convince them to give money to the Fraternal Order of Police.
Yep. I've had that call. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't go well for the person on the other end.
I don't know if the non-local ones do you any good or not.
I don't know either. I know I've heard a lot of stories of people saying, yeah, I put that on there for that reason. And I've heard a lot of stories about, that doesn't help anyone. But yeah, there are a lot of people that will donate to this Fraternal Order of Police, for example, and these other police unions and sergeants unions and detectives unions and all that.
So what does the Fraternal Order of Police do?
Well, they're a fraternal order.
Yeah, right.
So they're sort
My
of
dad was in the Moose Club. That's a fraternal order.
Yep. Basically, same sort of thing where like it's similar to the mutual aid associations that they used to have, where it's kind of like an insurance thing, and this perk and that perk. But yeah. So and one of the interesting things that I found is, and we were kind of gently encouraged to allow people to have this misconception in order to make better sales. But a lot of people really just thought, oh, the police don't have enough money. And they're calling up because they want more money. Well, I like police. Have some money.
Indeed. And
no, this isn't going to the police. This is going to the Fraternal Order of Police.
Right.
So when someone breaks their leg or gets shot or whatever, the money that you're giving them goes into that fund. And whatever bloody else they want to do with that fund.
Indeed.
And in exchange, well, you get this nice little bumper sticker that, or a little rear window sticker that lets the next cop that pulls you over know that you really care about his well-being.
I'm not completely bothered by the fact that someone was trying to fund drones and Bearcats and ended up funding clubhouses.
So
that is kind of funny.
A person on the other end of the line might have been trying to fund drones and Bearcats, and they ended up funding clubhouses. Okay, that sounds legitimate. In all likelihood, they're buying a sticker to put on their late model Lincoln or late model Buick with the intention of not getting a ticket, which they probably weren't going to get anyway, because the sort of demographic that tends to A, answer telemarketing calls, and B, give money to people who make telemarketing calls is probably not the sort that tends to get tickets.
But I've known a handful of drug dealers who worked at the restaurant that I was working at, and they
drug dealers working at restaurants.
I don't know why, but they either weren't good at their second job, and this really should have been their first job, or sometimes they would be there for contacts, work a few months, quit, be gone for a long time, and come back. But they would buy those police stickers to kind of blend in better, and I think that it worked. It might have not worked 100%, but I think that it worked.
Well, and one thing that I always figured is, okay, well, not all police are members of this fraternal organization or this particular union. So if you have something that says that you're with this, well, you're probably going to have a better chance of them treating you nicer if they're also in that union.
Well, I would say this is if I was driving around with something illegal in my car on the regular, I would pick my car completely differently than it seems like some people that I have seen get arrested for drug dealing pick their cars.
Those are the ones you've seen get arrested.
Indeed. And so it looks like what they're trying to do is get arrested. There's a way to decorate your car that will perhaps address.
They would also copy, to the extent that they could afford to, the models that the old white people would drive.
And I have definitely seen a very, very simple and direct correlation to number of bumper stickers and times pulled over by the police.
So number of bumper stickers will get you pulled over?
Oh, yeah. So someone who has no bumper stickers at all, way less likely to get pulled over. Someone whose entire back of their car is covered in bumper stickers, significantly more likely to get pulled over. That's what I've seen personally. It's anecdotal.
When I see a bunch of bumper stickers in the back of the car, I think to myself, I want very badly to never talk to that person. Right? Like, I just don't want to talk to them. It sounds like they've got a lot to say, and it would be exhausting and irritating and a variety of other things. I talk to people with whatever their opinions might be, crazy people with crazy opinions for a living on the radio. I'm not going to do it for free. So I don't want to chat with that person with the bumper sticker. If I was a cop, the last person I would want to pull over is somebody with a bunch of bumper stickers, because I don't know whether
they're
going
to make your quota that way.
But I can pull over anybody.
Well, you could, but they might not be guilty of stuff.
Everybody's guilty of something. The bumper stickers, but you're suggesting that more bumper stickers get you pulled over.
That's what I've seen. And I think, pure speculation here, but what I think is happening is that on some level they're going, okay, this person is not status quo.
Yeah, that's true.
This is an unusual person who is not doing what everyone's doing.
Bullies pick on nerds.
Yeah, exactly. They pick on the outcast, the weirdo. You are not doing what ordinary people do. Therefore, I, as the protector of civilization, which a lot of them really do see themselves as,
will lash you back into line, and perhaps the next vehicle you get will not be some old hoopty covered in bumper stickers.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, could be the case. Let's go to the phones. We got Matt calling in from New Hampshire. Matt, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how you doing?
All's well. What's on your mind?
Well, that stuff you guys are talking about with the bumper stickers and everything, it reminds me of this extortion racket I had to deal with when I was in the military. Basically, they got this thing going on where they have associations that you can voluntarily donate to. They got like the Army Association or the Airborne Association or the Panther. They had a whole bunch of them. And what they would do is they'd come up to us and they'd tell us we had to join these organizations, and you had to pay at least like $50 to join. And, it was voluntary, but if you didn't join, you weren't leaving the barracks for a while.
That's a shakedown racket there, yeah?
Yeah. Well, so
what'd you get out of joining? Anything? Just being able to leave the barracks?
Oh, well, it's more than leaving the barracks. You get extra duty, and all the higher-ups would, they would know that you didn't do it, My unit got 100% compliance. It's like you paid for this, because you would have a bad life for the rest of your time in as an enlistment guy if you didn't join. We'd got, every once in a while, a new guy would come in, and he would say, I'm not doing it. And we'd say, hey, buddy, you want to do this. And he'd say, I'm not doing it. And then they'd make the example out of him to keep doing it.
Yeah.
The funniest for me, though, was I remember one guy, and he joined one, and he signed up for the lifetime membership. So he paid like $500 or something for one of these. There's so many, I don't remember them all. And he paid the $500 for the lifetime. So next year came around, and they said, hey, you got to join this. He said, nope, I'm lifetime. And they said, you got to do it anyways. So he tried doing it, and well, this is hilarious. He tried joining it, and he couldn't because the system kicked back he was a lifetime member.
Because he was a lifetime member. Funny.
They made him
Free Talk
Remember
Live.
when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more, and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Denying a news report. I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News. President Trump holding a news conference this evening to defend his choice for the Supreme Court, but he was also questioned about a story in the New York Times.
Suggesting that in the years leading up to his arrival here in the White House, that he was only paying about $750 a year in federal income tax and potentially much less depending on the year. The New York Times has not published these tax documents themselves. Instead, they're trying to protect their sources. We asked the president about that pretty much the second we could, and he simply said that it was fake news and that he felt that this was not an accurate portrayal of his finances. He also said that he would not be releasing these documents yet because he says he's under audit. There have been a lot of questions really ever since he started running for president whether or not these tax return documents would come out.
Fox's Mark Meredith. President Trump's nomination of Amy Coney Barrett sets up a confirmation battle in the Senate. Some prominent Democrats are refusing to meet with her, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
I believe, first, that the whole process has been illegitimate, and second, because she's already stated that she is for overturning the ACA, I will not meet with her. We will use every tool in the toolkit to slow things down.
And Schumer's not alone. 2 of the 10 Democrats on the Judiciary Committee, Mazie Hirono of Hawaii and Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, are also refusing to meet with Judge Barrett. These one-on-one meetings are tradition. Today, the Senate Judiciary Chairman predicted things during confirmation could get nasty.
Fox's Mike Emanuel. Environmental officials in Texas have lifted a warning for a final Houston area community to stop using tap water because it might be tainted with a deadly brain-eating microbe. But they warn that the water should still be boiled before being consumed. Earlier this month, a 6-year-old boy died from the microbe. America is listening to Fox News.
2020 has been a gut punch to American business. And if you're going to succeed, you need every possible advantage. That's why savvy companies like Moink run on NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. With NetSuite, Moink has visibility and control over their financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything they need, all in one place. So they can deliver ethically raised, delicious meat to homes all across the country. Here's Moink founder, Lucinda Cramsey.
Feeding America is not a job I take lightly. I need to know how my numbers translate to food on folks' tables. So I ain't got no time for a math mistake. NetSuite is my single source of truth. Financials, inventory, and supply chain, all in real time. Americans depend on Moink to keep their families fed, so I depend on NetSuite.
Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Fox. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Fox. That's netsuite.com/Fox.
The death of a third-party candidate is causing a delay in Minnesota's 2nd District congressional election this November.
38-year-old Adam Weeks was a farmer running under the Legal Marijuana Now party. State law says if a major party nominee dies 79 days ahead of the November 3rd election, a special election must be held on the second Tuesday of February. In this case, it'll be February 9th, 2021. Minnesota began early voting and started mailing out absentee ballots on September 18th. Freshman Democratic Congresswoman Angie Craig is facing a challenge from Republican Tyler Kistner. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
The cause of death for 38-year-old Adam Weeks, the Legal Marijuana Now party candidate, has not yet been released. A video of a grandma interrupting her granddaughter's Zoom class over a Black Lives Matter discussion has gone viral.
In the video posted on TikTok, the grandmother interrupts the lesson to argue with the teacher about Black Lives.
LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. As our contract with our satellite provider is coming up for another 3-year renewal, I have to consider calling it quits. It's rare that we get feedback or support from our satellite users. We started a fundraiser a few years ago, and though there are a bunch of great contributors to it, as of this recording, it covers 15% of our monthly satellite costs. Please email lrn@lrn.fm and tell me how you use the satellite feed. Better yet, chip in at fund.lrn.fm. The costs aren't the issue. We can afford them, but why continue something not valued by the market? Want to help? You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. Fund.lrn.fm.
Everyone in Pennington is talking about it. Something smells like weed in that back part of the library. Head librarian Cookie Stevens and library volunteers Margaret Mosier and Gail Fredericks were in the middle of discussing the upcoming used book saleganza when they smelled something strange.
So he smelled marijuana somewhere, and we're like shocked. Yeah. And so Doug goes, "Do you smell it?"
Without any way to confirm that the smell was indeed weed, Cookie Stevens called her husband Sheriff Stevens, who called in local ceramics teacher Dutch Gibbs, who lived in Seattle for a few months in the 70s.
Yeah, that's weed.
Sheriff Stevens has begun compiling a list of potential suspects, including that boy Lance, who has girl hair and hangs out down by the quarry, Greg Fromke, who was spotted this evening really going to town on some potato skins at Steaky Jake's Steakhouse, and Mr. Thompson. Luckily, one young reading enthusiast seemed unperturbed by the illicit smell.
Yeah, I don't smell anything. I really love the library.
The weed smell comes on the heels of last month's discovery of a gigantic pair of women's underpants in the children's fiction section. According to Stevens, that case remains open as well.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about here on the radio. We do it a little different than other talk shows do here on Free Talk Live. We let you call in and talk about what you want. And we also often talk about things that other shows just aren't addressing at all. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
And speaking of which, Melanie, you've had an odd week. Now, let me get started here, see if I can give a little background. For those of you who've never heard of him, Christopher Cantwell is also known as the Crying Nazi. He was widely featured in several news articles regarding the Charlottesville march where a car ran into a group of protesters. I think it killed.
Well, that's not an entirely accurate. A group of quote protesters who were there to be violent blocked off the road, and this guy ran into them. One of them died when she shouldn't have been standing in the road.
Well, I don't know what. I mean, I saw the video, that particular video, and he looked like he was going pretty quick.
Did you see the angle where he got hit into them by another car?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, that'll be another trial. We can call it a murder. We can call it an accident. I don't know what
he's
it
doing
is.
life right now. James Field is doing life for being there, basically.
He was found guilty. All right. Anyway, one thing, and then the Charlottesville police arrested Cantwell, and he got out, and now apparently Christopher Cantwell at some point sent some messages to another white supremacist. Cantwell's calling himself a white supremacist, and they were mean messages, and the FBI decided it was worth stepping in and arresting him for threats or something to that effect. Now, what I saw and heard did not seem like threats to me, but you have been at the trial all week. Is that correct?
I was there. The trial was Tuesday through Friday, and I was there Wednesday and Friday.
Can you give me your, take on what has occurred over there? I mean, is Cantwell going to the pokey forever and ever?
I mean, I don't know, and I don't know that I'm a great person to ask for a prediction of.
You have completed law school.
Yes, but there are people. Okay, so everybody's biased, right?
Sure.
But you can be more biased than if it's just some story that you're detached and you don't know the person.
Right.
You can be more or less biased, and I don't know that I'm a good person for predictions because it's. I don't want to make predictions because it's about what the jury's going to do, and I wasn't there for voir dire.
Voir dire is when the
jury selection.
Jury selection.
I could just say it in English. I wasn't there for jury selection.
Now, I guess my question is, did they show conclusively that Christopher Cantwell threatened another white supremacist?
Absolutely not. I mean, They almost basically showed conclusively that he did not, because if they had any. If the FBI, what was Charlottesville, 2017 or 2018?
I don't know.
The FBI was watching everything you did over the internet since 2017 or 2018, and that's all they could come up with. I mean, they've basically proven him innocent of all crimes at this point, because that's all they ever came out with. And they've watched. I mean, they pretty much admitted to it too. They also have a camera that they put in front of his house secretly that they just announced that within the last month or so.
What was it, like about a telephone pole, or?
It was on they said it was a pole camera. I wasn't ever looking up when I was there.
I'll be looking up from here on out. I can tell you that.
I've also never seen it, but I wasn't looking in the trees whenever I was over there and trying to see if I could find a camera.
What in the world could they possibly see? Anyway, go on.
So, first of all, what I did not see brought out.
Who's coming and going? Who your contacts are? How often they show up?
Yeah, I guess you could see I'll bet they were bored. Looking at
They have the interns do that until somebody actually shows up. Just watch all the footage overnight when you're sleeping, and it's just nothing.
Right.
But
there must be a movement. But I mean, if it's across the street, then there's constantly a car. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
if it was in front of the door, then it was not. There was not a street in between.
You, a law school graduate, sat in the court, and you did not see anything that looked like conclusive evidence that Cantwell threatened somebody. And that's all they have. This is like messages going back and forth. Now, Cantwell did say something that could be interpreted as a threat.
Not by a sane person. He told...
Basically, I'll do it here. It's my show. I'll do my best. That he said that he was to this person. Remember, these are distasteful people that talk in distasteful ways, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have young ears or you just can't handle it, then turn it off right now. So he said something to the effect of, "I'm a F your spouse in front of your spawn." All right, and he used other terms, and that could be interpreted as an involuntary act, or it could be interpreted as a voluntary act, but he didn't use the word this four-letter word beginning with R that might suggest.
Can we not say that word on the radio?
I just don't. It's all so distasteful. I'm doing my best here.
Okay.
He didn't use that word, which definitely is involuntary, right?
Sort of the difference between kill and murder. There's an implication in what you're saying there.
Right.
Well, because kill is still usually involuntary.
Murdering is
right?
definitely killing.
Anytime I've ever heard in the English language when somebody says, I'm going to F that person or I want to F that person,
it's
implied that it's. I've never seen that in a. I've never seen that said in a non-voluntary context ever.
What I'm saying is that we have different terms that are sometimes for the same physical action but have a different implication. So with murder, there's implications of like planning it out or like trying to do so, whereas kill might be an accident.
Maybe it's the difference between die and murder, right? So people die all the time, very few of them are murdered. People procreate all the time, very few of those are involuntary. So go on. So that's all they got, right?
That is all they have. That's all he's charged with, which is also important because even if there was nothing else. And
I got to admit, I find that very surprising. Like, if you analyzed anyone's internet traffic for like a year, especially a really distasteful person, you'd think you'd come up with something worse. Like, you'd think, some angry comment about, I will stab you.
Right. Well, I mean, we've seen people convicted or at least arrested for putting up song lyrics. Now, there's some pretty violent song lyrics.
Yeah, but there's some song lyrics that contain threats, though.
There are. Yes, there are.
I could see it in some context if you're, messaging song lyrics to people, depending on what the lyrics are, that could be a problem.
I got it.
But so the comment from the Bowl Patrol guy who was a member of a Nazi group, I guess, that worships Dylan Roof, the executed mass shooter, the message immediately before that was him saying to Chris, I guess you don't care what happens to your girlfriend at the time. And then Chris responded, I'll F your wife, which to me seems like a completely reasonable response. It doesn't make sense as a threat. Like, the insult is
that she would want
you're such an inferior person that she'd take me over you, even though she has, a contract to the contrary, basically.
Yeah. It's all yucky, and these are yucky people. And mind you, the person that Cantwell was talking to, Cantwell's a distasteful individual and has said distasteful things, but the person he's talking to is part of a group that's calling themselves the Bowl Patrol. And that means that what that suggests is they lionize this man, Dylan Roof, is a murderer. So I don't know, I know Cantwell. I've spoken to him in the relatively recent past. I've known him for a period of time. He's come out to my house one time to fix something before he went all white supremacist on people. And at the very least, I would find just the association with the Bowl Patrol to make that person slightly worse of an individual than Cantwell, if I had to pick between. But it seems like Cantwell's painted a target on his back with his,
Well, and if you're
white supremacist
a member
famous.
of a community loosely that has a habit of going out of your way to say the most outrageous things possible and not ever carry it out, it doesn't seem like a credible threat to say an outrageous thing.
Right,
because
and that's what was
context
said.
matters.
Indeed. So we'll see. The jury's still out, and we'll find out maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. We'll see. What do you think? 855-450-3733. There's another incident with an FBI agent you're going to talk about, too. Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
News from news.bitcoin.com. Despite years of warnings about cryptocurrency, criminals prefer U.S. dollars for money laundering, study shows. Jim Rogers predicts end of U.S. dollar dominance. Macro strategist Raul Paul says Bitcoin beats gold in every way. New crypto, sushi, plummets around rumors of exit scam. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies, getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com.
Bear, the rescue dog, had very flaky skin, dropping a lot of fur, and Levette wanted to do steroid injections. I was at a dead end.
DINOVITE.com.
Probably 6 weeks after we started using Dinovite. No more flaky skin. He doesn't scratch and itch. It was awesome.
You get some Dinovite, how happy your dog will be.
Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days.
DINOVITE.com.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Tales from the courtroom here. We had a former co-host, Christopher Cantwell, whom, not my favorite person on the planet. By the way, it's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
And he was, his trial was just this week in Concord, New Hampshire. And Melanie, you were there a couple of days out of the 4 days that was there. Is that right?
Yeah, I was there Wednesday and Friday. I couldn't really be there the whole time because I have a 1-year-old.
Yeah, we have lives. But... we got the story, and apparently the jury's out, and it's your opinion that evidence was not presented, that he threatened somebody online, and your opinion's probably a little better than most people's since you're a law school graduate. You did not take the bar in New Hampshire, so we can't call you a lawyer, but...
It's federal court.
It's federal court.
Well, I mean, you still can't call me official titles, I guess, but it's federal court, so that would be...
Do you have to take a federal bar to defend people in federal court?
No.
Okay. So you just have to have some state bar somewhere?
No titles of nobility?
Patents?
No special honors? I don't have to call you Esquire?
It'd be really weird if you did.
Von Lichtenstein? I want to tell you, before we go on here, I want to tell you about Divvy. So Divvy is the new easy-to-use cryptocurrency that we've been talking about here on Free Talk Live for some time. And, well, their value has increased dramatically. Cryptocurrency's on a bit of a run. Their new wallet is coming out of closed beta here in the near future. And there's a variety of reasons why perhaps you would want to get in on Divvy right now. We have done quite well with Divvy here on Free Talk Live, and I must say I'm pretty happy with that. If you'd like to get in, and you don't have to go to an exchange or anything like that. They'll help you right there through the website if you get a hold of them. Diviproject.org. That's D-I-V-I, diviproject.org. They do what they call OTC, over-the-counter sales there, and they can help you hook you up with somebody who has some Divvy that they want to sell. And that way you could get it without perhaps the tracking through the exchange that you may not want. Diviproject.org. So, Melanie, there was an FBI agent at the courthouse when you went there, right?
Yeah. So Wednesday I went, and
Friday, right?
And I also went Friday. But on Wednesday, I had a car with me, and so I left my phone in my car. This will be relevant to. I know it doesn't sound that way. And I went, and the FBI agent testified that morning. He did not leave after the testimony. That's not entirely weird because sometimes they don't know if they're going to be recalled or not, so they wait for the judge to clarify that they're allowed to leave.
Well, and I imagine they get paid for being at court.
Cops usually get paid by the day. I don't know how FBI works.
Yeah, I would think so.
So even if they leave at 12, they still get paid. And so they have no incentive to stay around till 4:30. And so I went Wednesday. And when they're testifying, the court has these clear masks that they're giving people who are testifying so that you can see their face.
Right.
Whereas when everybody's sitting in the pews, and I am going to call them pews because those buildings look like churches.
That's literally what they are. I mean, seriously, if you walk into a courtroom, you are seeing an almost perfect representation of the old Protestant churches that existed at the founding of this country.
So when everybody's in the pews, they're wearing regular masks, but people who are testifying have clear masks so you can see them, and presumably so you can see things like facial expressions, but you can definitely see their face. He testified Wednesday. He also refused to answer when the defense asked him, did you offer Cheddar Main a deal to testify? And he said no. And the defense asked, did you imply a deal? And he refused to give a straight answer to that.
Cheddar Main is the person that was supposedly threatened.
Yes. And he refused to give a straight answer to that. And he kept talking, well, I can't say what this other person thought. I don't know what they thought. It's like, well, okay, but that's not what they asked you. They asked you, what did you imply? And those are two different things. And he just never could get an answer out of him for that. But then on Friday, I was dropped off, so I did not have a car with me. So I had to bring my phone in and check it at security, because you can do that in federal courts. So did everybody else who had a phone with them, because only attorneys and with permissions, which I'm sure they all get.
So pay attention, folks. The phone was in the car the first go around and in the building the next time.
And so presumably his phone was also at security's with mine. There was a table of phones. He was still there Friday for reasons that are inexplicable to me, because the defense case had started Thursday and it was still going on Friday. So there was no court reason for him to be there.
Just watching a white supremacist trial.
For fun.
Yeah.
I guess. Or, I mean, maybe his boss told him to be there, but there was no court reason for him to be there.
Nazi versus Nazi. Round 5.
So on Friday, I got home and I just really wasn't... Looking through Facebook requests was not my priority.
Yeah.
And I saw a request, though, and I was like, this guy really looks like the FBI agent. And his screen name on Facebook was Shane, Shayne, Tonwa, Tonggbua. And Facebook allows you to put nicknames, and he had one in parentheses that said Leech. Weird choice, but that's what it was. And I'm like, I really think
seems accurate for an FBI agent.
And I'm like, I really think this is the FBI agent. It looks like him. I'll have to look up his name, and like, I don't want to. By the time I get around to, I kind of want to send him an email, telling him off, basically. But on the off chance this is an innocent person, I'm going to wait until it's a reasonable hour to do so. And Ian had asked me to call in, and Chris had approved that to the show Friday night to tell him what happened. And I mentioned, and I got a friend request. I'm pretty sure it's from the FBI agent. And when I woke up the next morning, it was gone and his account is deleted. So the way Facebook works...
So you did look up the name of the FBI agent that testified? Was that him?
Yeah, I looked up. It was in one of the reports on the trial what his full name was, and this name is on the witness list as FBI special agent.
Okay.
So
you got a friend request from a Fibby.
I don't know what...
Special Fibby.
Yeah. They're all special.
And the way Facebook works... If your phone is next to someone else's for an extended period of time, or I don't know what the cutoff is, it will say, people you may know, and he probably got that.
Yeah, but people go with their phones. So if let's say you work in a 20-story office building, lots of people do.
But the first floor might be far enough away from the 19th floor.
I mean...
Whereas if my phone was sitting next to his at security for 8 hours...
The unfortunate truth is that literally no human being knows what's in these algorithms because they've been programmed by other computer algorithms, which were themselves wormholed their way into someone who actually programmed them to try and do a thing.
I mean, it could be that he looked my name up, but the point of me saying that was it is entirely possible that Facebook said, people you may know. And... It's weird to get a friend request from an FBI agent under their real name because it's like, what are you even trying to do? This is not very good investigating.
Right.
There's a couple of options, I guess, that are possible. With me, I doubt it.
I don't know. It's all very strange. What do you think the reasons were? 855-450-3733. Would it make you feel a little uncomfortable if a FBI agent sends you a friend request on Facebook? 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to DivvyProject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from DivvyProject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. DivvyProject.org. DIVI Project.org.
Every year, over 1 million fires burn in America. Fortunately, firefighters are on the job, saving life and property, and you can be a part of it. 7 out of 10 firefighters and emergency responders are volunteers. There's no typical firefighter. Anyone can volunteer to serve their community. Volunteering as a first responder is really about having the heart and drive to make a difference where it's needed most. Your community needs you. Are you ready to answer the call? Learn more and find local volunteer opportunities at makemeafirefighter.org.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Do you have a WordPress website running WooCommerce and want to accept cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin SV? Now you can easily enable crypto payments from your customers by adding the AnyPay plugin to your WordPress site. Just visit AnyPayInc.com and set up your account by entering your cryptocurrency wallet addresses in the admin. Then enable the AnyPay plugin in your WooCommerce. That's it. Now your website takes crypto like Bitcoin thanks to AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. You can call in and talk about whatever you want. We're talking about, well, most recently, Melanie getting a friend request from an FBI agent. And I don't know. How would that make you feel? Personally, I wouldn't remember the guy's name, so I would never feel uncomfortable.
But I went and looked it up because he looked like the FBI agent.
I understand you. I get a lot of friend requests, and basically what I do is I go through and I see how many friends we have in common. And if we have a sufficient number of friends in common, I will approve them, because I don't use my Facebook account very much anyway, so I don't really care whether people see it or not. And it's not like, if the FBI wanted to see my Facebook account, they could.
They wouldn't have to. I don't think they would have to even have a Facebook. Well, they wouldn't, because they have the back door that I know about. But even without that, everything on there is public, because guess what? Facebook is a website. So if you don't want someone else to see something, don't post it to a website.
That's right.
So I generally just approve everybody who doesn't look like a bot. Or for a while, I was getting some people who were just asking for money, and that was annoying. So I wasn't approving people in that group. But he looked like the FBI agent, which is why I looked at it twice. It's not unusual for me to get requests from people who have no mutuals, but they're usually libertarian or at least like heavy LP leaning type people. And this guy had stories about how awesome the not the Marines, I forgot how awesome some federal agency is. They saved some kids from drowning, and American flags with fireworks, and this federal agency is awesome, and that federal agency is awesome. And I'm like, okay, I don't know why you're here, and you really look like this particular FBI agent who I saw today today at the time.
So let's go to John calling in from Nebraska. John, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I'd be a little bit concerned if an FBI agent tried to do that. I believe my phone has been monitored. I have a couple different phones. I've worked in a couple different facilities that do business with the government, and then I've been on a couple different bases, but
I think it's best to assume that your phone is monitored.
Yeah, I to the point where I will sometimes talk to them if I'm mad and just like directly talk to the FBI or NSA as if I know they're listening, because I just assume that I'm being monitored.
Well, I think it's a perfect analog to 1984. Big Brother may be listening at any time. It's always possible that the FBI is actually hearing what is said around your phone. But they might not. It's sort of the panopticon effect, only for listening to people.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, well, I also want to say, you guys, it is a free talk show, right? I mean, y'all have said some pretty bizarre, off-the-wall things at times that some people might be able to take out of context, which, I mean, happens
they clipped
a lot, especially in a courtroom.
Yeah, if they wanted to clip it out, they could absolutely make things look bad for us. And then, consider that a voice generator, it wouldn't be even that difficult. There's enough audio of me on the air that they could make something that me say anything.
Yeah. I just want to say, too, I mean, I enjoy the show. I've been listening for a while. I haven't called in a long time. But, my problems when I believe, and I can't actually prove it, but I believe that I've been monitored. I don't want to say gang stalked, but I've had vandalism happen to my property and stuff and whatnot. But this all it comes and goes every now and then. But it all started back during Occupy when I went down to a protest and, met up with a couple people.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And I just thought, I mean, I'm not I'll voice my opinion, but I'm not like an extreme, radical,
like me,
rioter or anything like that. I mean, I might go out to a protest, but
I don't do riots, but yeah.
Vandalism or destruction of property. I'm not that guy, But yeah, no, I just want to say, it does kind of make you think, and you should be. I don't know. I mean, Edward Snowden came out with that video. You got to be cautious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not concerned. I'm not going to be scared off of anything. It's just, I think that I have to, quote, report any FBI contact to the community. Otherwise, I look suspicious. So that's what I'm doing. And B, if I talk about it, that kind of removes all the power from it, because part of the power play is I'm going to make you worry about this thing you can't talk about, except I'm going to talk about it. So
thank you for the call, John. One thing that that brought to mind for me is that Free Talk Live, for those that don't know, had its studios raided about 4.5 years ago. And this was shortly thereafter that we talked about two events that involved the FBI. Now, I'm not saying they're related, but it sure seemed like it to me. One of those events was the Malheur Wildlife Refuge takeover by, Bundy and his crew out there, which I don't think there were any convictions on. No court convictions on. There might have been some people who took some plea or something. So, take what you want to take from it.
But they also killed, I think, 2 of them.
I don't know that they killed the guy off site, but I don't know that they killed anybody else. Anyway, my suggestion is that it looked like to me, I watched quite a bit of that standoff that one evening throughout the night, and it looked to me like the FBI was acting very unprofessionally and attempting to snipe the last 3 holdouts as sort of a, hey, don't do this because it's bad thing. I don't know. But that's what it looked like to me. It looked like they were trying to draw them out of the tent with a gun in their hands so they could shoot them. And fortunately, they didn't die. But, the FBI could not like that I was saying they were unprofessional on the air. Then, I think it was a week before they busted in here. The case that they busted in on was the Playpen case, where the Federal Bureau of Investigations ran a child pornography distribution website for 3 weeks. They were the largest.
And uploaded new content.
Yeah, they were the largest. Oh, I didn't know that part. They were the largest distributor of child pornography in the world for the 3 weeks of, I think it was March 2014 or 2015. I'm not entirely sure. You can search Playpen and figure it out. But that is undeniable. There's no there's no to this.
Yeah,
right?
they copped to that. They're not disputing that.
Right. The Federal Bureau of Investigations was the largest distributor of child pornography in the world that month.
At least that month.
And right, there are other accusations and other time frames, and it's harder to pin down, but they certainly did at that time. And I called them out on it. And then 1 week later, we're busted in, and they take a whole bunch of equipment.
They were there to steal equipment is what they were doing.
And they did steal equipment. They didn't take us off the air. And fortunately, our listeners came through and funded everything and put us all back on the air as quickly as could be
Ian was
possible.
Turning down offers for computers that night because he already had enough.
Yeah. I mean, thank you to everybody who did. But, I mean, 4.5 years later, essentially nothing's happened. So if they were just trying to send a message, then whatever. I don't know what that message was. We didn't listen to it. Clearly, if they're toothless, They clearly weren't willing to lie to put us in prison. Okay? So if they wanted to just plop some child pornography on those computers, they could have done it.
Like, this guy on the stand seemed very unwilling to outright lie, but very willing to insinuate things that were not true.
So in the case that they had the evidence of Free Talk Live, they didn't put anything on the computers. They, if they wanted to assassinate any of us, they could have done that. So I tend to think that they operate by a set of rules, and I like that. Whatever that is, it makes me feel I sleep just a little better at night knowing that they're operating by some set of rules, whatever those rules might be.
Well, I don't know that that's conclusive, because they might make decisions based on political motives, not necessarily
what could possibly be the political downside of taking out Free Talk Live. There's
a huge political
they
downside.
Would have to.
I mean, you will underline everything that these people have ever said. I mean, if it comes out that you assassinated an American on American soil, people are it's the Streisand effect. People are going to get real curious about what were they talking about.
Yeah, but if they wanted to take us out, all they'd have to do is put child pornography on those computers that they had. I mean,
that'd take you out.
Yeah, that would be gone, and nothing you say has any difference at that point. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Any thoughts on this? Free Talk Live.
What if you could cut your heating bills this winter with your existing wood-burning fireplace and not spend thousands doing it? You can with Great Wall of Fire fireplace grates. Our U.S. patented made-in-America Wall of Fire grates increase fireplace efficiency, eliminate fireplace smoke problems, and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. See our grates in action and get free shipping from walloffire.com or call 800-274-7364. Fireplace heat without fireplace smoke. walloffire.com. When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have two convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our made in the USA microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part? Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the final segment on a Sunday night. Live. You might be able to squeeze you in. The number is 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Peakless Mountaineer.
And Melanie.
We were talking about, the FBI agent, the Christopher Cantwell trial, the FBI agent that sent a friend request to Melanie and Free Talk Live's fun adventures where the FBI came in here and took a bunch of equipment 4.5 years ago and never heard from again. Now, do they have any obligation to try to get the equipment back to you? What if you just,
You have to file for it.
Okay.
I'm not sure that they have any obligation to do anything ever.
Okay.
I mean, every time I've seen anyone look into it, like there's no obligation to protect you. There's no obligation to respect personal property. There's no obligation to actually follow their own rules.
It does seem strange they can walk into your place of business, your house in Ian's case, take a bunch of computer equipment, walk out the door, then they don't ever have to do anything to get it back to you. Now, frankly, I would never use a computer that's been in the hands of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that at my house. You don't know what's on there.
Seems bad. But anyway, let's go to the phones. David in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, man, I even finished watching my dog fart videos early. You still kept me till the end. And make sure I don't say anything funny so you hang up on me, all right?
All right.
I mean, not much chance of that anyway, but just thought I'd put that in there. Two things. So court watching, and in New Mexico, you can now listen. You can appear in our courtrooms here by telephone on Google Meet, whatever it is. I got the phone number and the password, and they are published online for every court hearing, at least in the Metro Court, metrocourt.nmcourts.gov. Bernalillo County Metro Court. It's right on their landing page, their home page. Click here, and it'll give you all the phone numbers. I have a hearing I have hearing after hearing after hearing, but one that should be interesting with Judge Felicia Blair Rivera, who is the one that threatened me with contempt for saying the word objection. She actually threatened me with contempt the last hearing I had in front of her on the telephone. And so if you want to listen again, I'm still not taking any F from her, Felicia Blair Rivera. If anybody wants to pass that along through KNN or KINNN listeners, Felicia Blair Rivera, I'm still not taking any crap from you.
When it comes to hearings, those are times where you don't have access to representation. Is that right?
No, I have an attorney.
Oh, so was it that you said objection instead of your attorney?
To finish, before Mark cuts me off in case I say anything funny or you run out of time, it's Tuesday the 30th at 1:45. Felicia Blair Rivera, her courtroom is 340, and I have the password right here if we get around to giving it, but otherwise it's online. But what was your question?
I was just so they were upset at you for you saying objection rather than your lawyer saying objection.
That's right. I said objection because my lawyer did not recognize there was something to object to. And so because we're creating a record, we are on the record, and there will be appeals, like there have been appeals in my other cases that I have won. There will be an appeal in these cases.
And you have to have an objection in. Melanie, what happens if the client objects as opposed to the lawyer? The lawyer's there to represent the client, but if the client objects, they obviously can represent themselves.
Well, you have to pick, so it's not effective.
You can't bounce it back and forth.
I don't know. I haven't seen the rules of procedure in New Mexico, so
I can tell you what happened. What happened is, obviously, if the client says objection, and then there's a stink about it in the courtroom, the counsel, the attorney, is going to ask the client what they're objecting to. If the judge doesn't do their duty and ask herself, and so the court will be recessed momentarily. The communication will happen between the client and the attorney, and then the attorney will come into the courtroom, go back on the record, and say, "We object to this." Is what will happen.
Okay. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world to have been objecting at your own trial. The idea of contempt charges for that. What do you think about that, Melanie?
She can do it. It's completely narcissistic and
okay.
She can do
bad
it.
form.
Yeah, so
technically available, but mean.
Yeah, she screwed up. She actually biased herself, prejudiced herself, and so now I have grounds to request that she recuse herself or file a motion that she excuse herself. Should I request that she recuse herself, and she refused to recuse herself, should it come to that, because it was pretty comical. If I gave you the narrative again about how it went down on the record, it's rather comical, and it came across as actually what she did was threaten me.
Recusal is generally called the nuclear option by attorneys. And it's kind of a shot that if you're going to fire, you better make it.
So does that sort of put a stain on your mark in the legal profession that you recused yourself from something that maybe you shouldn't have? Or?
Having a motion to recuse, because the judge doesn't have to say why they're recusing themselves.
Right, and a judge that chooses not to recuse themselves probably isn't going to be your best friend thereafter, right?
Yeah, and because you're making the motion to them who has already decided not to recuse themselves.
Yeah.
Right, but there's actually something positive in a judge that wants to hostilely stay on your case. They tend to make more prejudicial statements after that. When they are staying on your case, when you've asked them to go away and you have grounds, and they stay on the case anyway, they usually prejudice themselves over and over and over again. So they give you more ammo.
And that's good for you for an appeal process, right?
Exactly.
So another question here, David. It sounded like you were stumping for viewers on the court case. No one would be able to speak during this, right?
Well, no, they can speak. They're supposed to keep their telephone muted, but it's the same as sitting in an open courtroom. If you would speak in an open courtroom, you could speak on the telephone here unless the judge has everybody muted, which is usually not the case. You're usually in control of your own phone line. You want the password?
Well, is it easy to say on the air?
Yeah, it's a phone number and a password, and I got it right here.
Well, just tell them where to go. Just tell people where to go to get it. It's probably a better way to do it because.
Well, then the best thing to do is just, like I said, it's at metrocourt.nmcourts.gov. So the best thing to do is just Google New Mexico, Bernalillo County Metro Court, and right on the landing page it says click here to go to next week's schedule or this week's schedule, and it's Tuesday at 1:45 on the 30th in front of Felicia Blea Rivera.
Do you think that...
And I'm David Olson.
More people...
David Olson.
That much is true.
Yeah.
Do you think that more people at this event is better than fewer? And if so, why?
Well, not even theoretically. Technically, in the United States of America, we designed a government where the courtrooms were open to the public on purpose because people were encouraged to attend so that our government does not have secret trials and secretly convict people with faked evidence and then hang them in the tower.
Star chambers tend to go rather poorly for a civilization.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
No doubt about it. It's just that what I found is that people very rarely attend trials, and I don't know if having people there is particularly useful. It seems like here in Keene, New Hampshire, at the very least, the only place that I have ever attended a trial voluntarily, like having people there is actually, it seems like it could be a detraction from your case as opposed to a positive.
Really?
Well, that would actually be interesting things to mention in an appeal as well, because there's absolutely no reason it should be a detraction. And if it is, then that's a target for an investigation. Why was Mr. Olson's case prejudiced by the fact that citizens witnessed his hearing?
I don't know, and I don't doubt you could ever prove it.
See, my thought for going into court with a whole bunch of people is just that they're more likely to be more polite about it because, hey, if we do this really obviously badly, there might be a lot of people who have something to say about it.
I can tell you that the judge largely didn't address the people at all, but the bailiffs were hell on wheels. I mean, there's a little guy there that was sort of a retired some kind of bureaucrat, and he loved his small little bit of power. And I mean, I had my son in there who was maybe 2. He made some kid noises, and the judge kicks me out. That bailiff came and he was right up behind me, and I'm like, I'm going, and then of course the judge is like, no talking, So I don't know. My experience in courtroom has not been positive, I've got to say, and it seems like they don't want people to go. That doesn't mean that it's good or bad for your case. I don't know.
Who cares? Well, I think by definition you need to have people observing what your courts are doing, because if
government doesn't want people involved in the process. That's for sure.
David, thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
Later.
Yeah, check us out in the meantime at freetalklive.com. Thanks for listening. And you can go to freetalklive.com. You can sign up for our Telegram page, our newsletter, and stay in contact with everything that is Free Talk Live. freetalklive.com.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Riddled with inaccuracies. I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News. That's how President Trump's attorney Ellen Garten describes the New York Times report that the president paid no federal income taxes in 10 of the past 15 years. In a statement, Garten said the president has paid tens of millions of dollars in personal taxes to the federal government, and he questioned the timing of the report before the election. President Trump was asked about the report earlier this evening.
That's just fake news. The New York Times tried it. The same thing. They want to create a little bit of a story, they're doing anything they can. Not only that's the least of it. I mean, the stories that I read are so fake. They're so phony.
The president also defending his choice of Amy Coney Barrett as the nominee for the Supreme Court. Democrats say the nomination before the election is part of a plan to overturn the Affordable Care Act. The first presidential debate is Tuesday night in Cleveland.
Biden is saying he thinks President Trump wants to get into a mosh pit.
My guess is it's going to be a straight attack. They're going to be mostly personal. That's the only thing he knows how to do. He doesn't know how to debate the facts because he's not that smart. He doesn't know that many facts.
There are going to be between 80 and 100 people inside the debate hall. So it's going to be kind of like a hybrid between one of those packed Trump rallies and one of the press-only Biden events. But despite this unusual hybrid layout, the Biden brain trust is feeling very confident.
Fox's Peter Ducey. And a U.S. judge in Washington has temporarily blocked a Trump administration order banning Apple and Google from offering Chinese-owned video sharing app TikTok for download.